Okay, I'm Victor Conte, and we're here at the SNAC training facility. It's Friday, October the 5th, and I'm going to give you a bit of an update on this Demetrius Andrade, BJ Saunders positive drug test for BJ Saunders and where things stand at the moment. Uh, Yesterday, we got the second test result back for Demetrius, and it came back all negative, so that's two now. Vada showed up today at the SNAC facility, and they ended up collecting blood and urine again from Demetrius. So this was his third test. So we can only assume that they also, during this same time frame, will be testing B.J. Saunders. But I want to go back and talk a little bit about the information that's coming out of the UK and what they've been saying that B.J. Saunders has been all but cleared is the word. And I don't see how that can be anywhere near what's actually the truth. First of all, WADA and UKAD have absolutely nothing to do with Demetrius Andrade. So they're not testing him. They don't govern him. They have nothing to do with him. Now, B.J. Saunders, as an athlete there under the British Boxing Control Board, does use UKAD to do the testing, but everyone that's been suggesting that WADA is the so-called gold standard, well, I'm here right now to tell you that that's just simply not the case. WADA originally is there's what they call the WADA code, which is the rules and regulations that USADA and UKAD and other national governing bodies follow their rules. But there's a really serious loophole that exists there, and that's this issue of in and out of competition testing. And therefore, if you can take all the methamphetamine, this oxylofran is from the amphetamine family, all you like, with significant weight loss and energizing effects and increasing power and speed and all the rest of it, any time that you like, up to 24 hours before the fight. So this is a loophole you can drive a Mack truck through. It's not the gold standard by any means. Now, VADA, on the other hand, during this period of time, the approximately 2 months, maybe 7 weeks, that they both signed an agreement to do the VADA testing, it's all the prohibited substances that are on the list, but it's at all times. It's not just the day before the fight, but from 7 weeks out, until, including the fight, you cannot take this substance. Now, to put it in context, the fight is happening here in the United States in Boston, or is at least scheduled to, on the 20th of October. All of the professional sports in the United States, Major League Baseball, the NFL, NBA, even all the NCAA athletes, are all subjected to being tested for this stimulant at any time. So these professional sports teams and the NCAA do not, I repeat, do not follow the WADA code. And for good reason, because it's relatively easy to circumvent the rules and regulations of WADA if all you have to do is just be tested for certain substances, all of these amphetamine-like stimulants that are very powerful, 24 hours before a fight, and that's it. So that means that all the rest of the 7 weeks you get to do whatever you like and take all the drugs you like, and they'll just be testing for these substances basically on fight night or for the 24-hour period before. So all this coming out in the media in the UK that he's been cleared by who? Certainly not VADA, because VADA does test for this substance, and the very first test that B.J. Saunders did, which was the 30th of August, there was a positive test. The second test for Demetrius was conducted around the 14th of September, actually when he was in Las Vegas for the Canelo and Triple G fight. Today was the third test, so we're assuming that close to those dates, we don't know, but that B.J. Saunders is also being tested, and it's likely that the second test, and we'll see here once his results are announced. Today, they announced that Demetrius' second test was negative, and they collected on the third one. But my understanding is that B.J. Saunders, after all this broke about the positive test, he hightailed it out of the UK, and he went up in the sticks somewhere in Canada. So I don't know what he's doing there, but I'm sure the VADA testers will be able to find him there as well, because he signed a contract that he would be in compliance, and on the whereabouts form, you're obligated to tell them where you are 24/7. So I'm sure that they're likely going to be testing him again soon. So next Tuesday, which is October the 9th, there's going to be a hearing, and the Massachusetts Commission is going to decide whether or not to give a license to B.J. Saunders. The WBO will also, based upon that decision that they make, decide whether or not to strip him of his title. And then I'm also hearing that they have already signed the guy from Nambia that, forget his name, but the 17-0 guy with 16 knockouts, has already been signed to a contract that in the event that they do strip B.J. Saunders, that he will fight for the vacant title on the 20th there in Boston. So to summarize here, we're expecting any time now for the second test result for B.J. Saunders to become available, so we'll know whether or not there's a second positive test for this stimulant. I suspect that there is, because they collected that sample before the first test was announced. So that will be very revealing. And then, letters have been written by both sides to the commission there in Massachusetts, and I'm sure that they will consider all the input from all parties concerned, and they're going to make a decision. Now, my opinion is that this is a really historic moment, in my opinion, because we're going to find out whether or not these boxing commissions are going to adhere to the VADA rules and VADA testing procedures. We talk about WADA as being the so-called gold standard. I don't believe that's the case at all. VADA has a much more stringent program in that they test for this stimulant at all times as opposed to just on fight night. So if they make what I believe is the correct decision, and they do not issue a license to B.J. Saunders, and they strip him of his title, and Demetrius does fight for that vacant title coming up, this will be very important, because it shows that those in boxing recognize VADA as the gold standard, and that's what boxing needs to be held to. Once again, the same as the NFL, NBA, MLB, all other amateur NCAA athletes in the United States. The fight is in the United States. So why would they uphold the WADA and UKAD set of rules that are much less stringent than VADA when Demetrius Andrade is not enrolled in WADA or UKAD, and they have absolutely no ability to regulate Demetrius? So bottom line is this. Just a few days away, and boxing fans will get the opportunity to find out, is this going to be a historic decision that's going to be in the best interest of all of boxing, which means that they will uphold this positive drug test and they will rule in the favor of Demetrius, because both fighters signed this contract. They got the prohibited substances list when they signed it. They both agreed to be tested at all times for this substance. So B.J. Saunders or his promoters or anybody else can't come back and say, well, he didn't know. Well, if he didn't read it, the contract, or he didn't pay attention to what he was signing, that's on him. He signed a contract. It's legally binding. And let's just hope that the Massachusetts Commission makes the right decision, and we've got a new so-called gold standard called VADA in the sport of boxing.